Hello everyone, welcome back again. As you can see, there's been a little bit more progress on FTR3, which is exciting. We'll cover off all that shortly. I just wanted to update you on a couple of other bits and pieces that's been happening. So as you'll be aware, we've got our YouTube channel up and running. All the videos we've done previously, we'd uploaded to Facebook, so they're now on YouTube. So if you are catching up, we've got all the videos that we filmed throughout the restoration of the C. Valerie Super Cheap Auto Falcon. They're all now up to speed as of today and uploaded to YouTube. Now, this car is still not finished. There's still a lot of work to go, which we'll bring you as we go along. Waiting on a few bits and pieces to come in for this car, so that's why we've decided at this point to switch over and start on FTR3. So as you can see, FTR3 started to come apart. So the bonnet's off, quarter panels, everything else. So it really just gives us a bit clearer picture of the sheer level of work we've got ahead. Now, just to show you, there's little points that we can look for to see what has been replaced after the car finished its racing life. So if you have a bit of a look here, that section there, that thread has been welded in. Now that just to suit the BA quarter panel because the mounting point was different. If you come over here, that's the AU front quarter panel original mounting point. So all this section here is all original AU. Now, where it's going to be a little bit tricky, and we discovered this on the Steve Valerie Falcon, the AU tent curves straight down, follows that line, and then squares off there. So the rad support and the front quarter panel sits lower. The BA is a lot higher. So it's actually been cut through here and had a BA section fitted, and obviously a BA front rad support and a few other bits and pieces. So there's going to be a lot of fabrication work in the front end, certainly the very front of it, to get it back to an AU again. A lot of the wear side of it, if you have a look in there, you look at the front rails that are fairly dinted up, and a lot of the white paint is starting to show back through again. So all the rails and bits and pieces are definitely all original. It's just a lot of the stuff to hang the panels on is where the changes have been made. So we've had a lot of questions come in this week about the bar work and what engineering is going to be required to bring it back to as it raced between 2000 and 2003. The reality is we're learning every day. So we covered off last week the main bars that need to be changed or replaced to bring it back to what it used to be. But this car, we've learnt so much in the space of a week, and 95% of it has come from Facebook followers or YouTube followers. So people that have got photos of the car from pit lane in the early 2000s with the doors open and old newspaper articles and bits and pieces like that, all with photos of the car, we've been able to compare it to what it is now and understand, I guess, where the work needs to happen. So we've been sent some really good and detailed photos from a lot of our followers. So people that have, shared information with us, which we're really appreciative of. Unfortunately, as I said, the original drawings for the car haven't been found to date, and we seem to believe that they may not be. So I'll share with you here, we've got some detailed photos of FTR1 and FTR2. Now, we've been told confidently that the overall layout of the chassis was exactly the same. So all the bars and everything can go back exactly how they were in those two cars, and we'll be on the money. Now, the only other issue we've got to try and find out, and we have discovered recently, is this car, as you'll see in this article from the year 2000, was 20% stiffer. Now, it doesn't actually say how and why. Obviously why, it was a performance thing, but it doesn't say how it was done. Now, we have been able to ascertain that there's extra bars that run behind the pedal box through photos. So they are still there, which is really good. So none of the front half of the car has been modified. And we've covered off the diagonal bars and bits and pieces, which all need to go back in the car. We can do that quite comfortably, same as FTR 1 and 2. But where did a majority of this increased stiffness come from? Now, where we believe it has come from, and it's through this photo just here, you can see on these suspension boxes here, where the trailing arms bolt into the chassis from the rear diff, there's diagonal bars which run between the inside of those boxes and the rear shock tower. Now, if you have a look here, if I go inside the car there's a round witness mark there, which does suggest that there was a bar there at one point, and obviously it would run from that point across to the rear suspension tower. So that is something that was exclusive to FTR3. 1 and 2 didn't have it. So that's something that's been really, really good. And again, it's only come about because somebody shared that information, a photo that's been hidden away for many, many years. And that's something that we can, you know, put back in FTR3 to make sure that the restoration is as close as it can be to as it sat on the grid in Bathurst in 2000. Obviously, the other thing we do need to do to the front is put the Larry bar back in. It was removed to make it a ride car. So, and there's obviously bar work and that there we're going to have to modify, but you can see in the dashboard where the bar used to sit and go through, so that'll all be replaced as well. So obviously to complete all that work, everything will come out. The only other thing we've been doing to try and understand what's original and what's not is just literally going off paintwork. So you can see there's bits of white paint popping up everywhere when you start to take some of the grey off. So it's pretty easy to work out what's original and what's not. And so far, that theory, every bar that we don't believe is original is just literally goes to primer. There's no white. So with the back end off the car, so the rear bar, tail lights, etc., we can have a bit more of a look underneath it. And using the same theory about the paint, you can see just how much of the original AU is still there. So all the stone chips have exposed the white underneath. The rear rails are all still original AU. All the box work where the fuel cell sits, that's all still there. Obviously we'll retain all that. We'll just get it all cleaned up and straightened if it needs to be. This back section here where the BA back end grafts onto it, that's obviously not original. That panel's been put in there because the AU shape was obviously different to the BA. But certainly from that point back, everything still looks to be AU, which is really exciting. The rear parcel shelf, as we covered last week, that does need to be changed, which we'll do, and the roof to accommodate the different shape in the screens. So that's pretty well it for under here. You can see there all the rear camber on the differential. And it's all serial numbered in bits and pieces. That's all got markings on it. We'll understand what all that is when it comes out of the car. We'll keep pushing on under here. As you'll see, there's a lot of white paint that's getting exposed as we go along, which is really cool. It just all tells the story. We found this a little bit earlier. Under here, you got GSR2 on the starter motor. So some of this stuff is actually pretty old and it's survived a long time. So we're really keen to retain all that as the car goes back together. But before we get anywhere near that stage, every nut and bolt will be torn out. We'll bring it to you as we go. And it's going to be a slow process because we're going to document everything as we go, just to make sure that, you know, when we do the final assembly, everything is as close as we can get it. We don't have to go back and revisit anything, which is sometimes not possible. So we'll keep pushing on here. Thanks again for your support. And if you've got any questions or comments, please let us know. And we look forward to bringing you more soon. So thank you.